Okay, welcome to Reaper Tutorial 1. Go ahead and open Reaper. And you'll see, I don't have any of this menu down the bottom, but you can always bring up the Explorer window, for instance, or the Mixer by going to View. And then you go to Media Explorer. And that'll bring it up down the bottom, so you can navigate your computer and find files you want to use. And you can also look and see the mixer, which is there. It's not there. Mixer there. Okay, my menus are a little bit different. But anyway, you can see the shortcut key, Control M. So you can bring that up by pressing Control M, and then it'll bring up your mixer. All right, to add a track, you go Insert, and you go Track. Control T is the shortcut key. So let's do that now. Let's insert a couple tracks. Now you can zoom in via these buttons over here. So you can zoom them down this way or zoom out a little bit. But I like to use the mouse and keyboard keys. So if you hold down Control and roll your mouse wheel on this window here, it'll zoom up and down. Okay, and if you hold down Control Shift, it'll zoom on one track, selected track. That's pretty cool. If you hold down Alt, it'll scroll. So say you got a bit of MIDI there, you'll scroll across. And if you hold down, no, that's it. All right, and yeah, mouse wheel will zoom. So you can see I've got a bit of data here. It's gonna click wherever it's gonna zoom wherever you clicked, and get smaller and smaller. Right, so I've got a couple of tracks here, and first of all I want to turn on the metronome, because when you're doing recording to a grid, which is a grid here, it's generally best to leave the metronome on. So when you press the button, you'll hear the tick. So that when you're recording, you'll stay in time, and then when you add other samples, so for instance, I'll go to my Media Explorer here, I'll go to my what the hell is that? Okay, we'll go to audio, and I'm going to get some samples in my sample folder. Acoustic drums, loops. I'm going to get some loops. Okay. All right. So in your Media Explorer, there's also tempo match on, which is really cool, because if you've got the whole bunch of loops, like Acid, they'll automatically map to your tempo of your song. So for instance, if I go down to well, let's go up to 140 dubstep. 140 is around dubstep. It was halving the time of the other ones. Let's get that one there. All right, I'm going to drag it up into my project. I'm going to zoom in a bit and press play. All right, so this one seems out of time. So let's do a little bit of editing for a start. So if you zoom in, you can see that the start of the beat is actually there. Okay. So what we're going to do is resize this sound. Now when I try to resize, see how it snaps? You can turn this feature off here. Grid lines enabled. No, wait, sorry, this one here. No, which one is it? That one. All right, Alt S is snap. Now there's a quick way around that. I like leaving snap on, so I can just quickly go, okay, all right, drag it out, so you know I can make it exactly half without having to worry about. If that's off, you might get it slightly off, and then everything else will be out of time. So just be careful with that one. Okay, so leave that on. Now, if you want to make it so it's wait, let me just get my loop back. So it's perfectly in time, you can use the Shift key. So we'll zoom in, hold down Shift, go to your resize here, and you can shift, and you can do minute change. So I'm going to go to there. That's my start of my beat. Drag it to the start. And you can see that sample just had an intro, and then I can add a little bit of empty space at the end there. Okay, now I can Control C, Control V, I can paste it over and over again. I think you can do, I'll just delete those, I think you can do Control D, duplicate. Oh, that's cool. Control D, duplicate. So I'm going to just bring my loop up here. You can drag your timeline. Okay, so you can have it so if you click here and drag, it'll go from that side. Also resize it like this. And you can turn the looping feature on here. Default is R for repeat. Okay, and it's going to play from wherever this edit cursor is. So I might go back to the start here. Alright, once you get a beat in, turn that tick off, that metronome. You don't need that. Unless the drummer's playing out of time. Okay. If you want to record audio, it's really important that you have ASIO for all selected in your preferences. So we'll go to options, and yours should look like this down the bottom. Control P for preferences. Okay. And then you go to audio, and it'll be device just here. And you should see audio system, you change that to ASIO, and you change audio driver to ASIO for all V2. I'm using a different sound card, so I'm going to use that one. And then over here, we'll select our other track. So if you don't remember how to make a track, you just press Control T. You can delete the tracks if you want. Control T. You can name them. Double click in this grey part here. We'll call this guitar. And Mr. Birchall's going to get his guitar and plug it in because he loves playing guitar. Alright. Now, you can't hear yourself, can't hear your voice until you press the arm for record button here. And this button here is record monitoring on. You want that to be green. Okay, you want that to be red, armed for record, and this one to be green. Now you also need to select your input. At the moment it says MIDI. Alright, so that's going to play my keyboard. I want to change that. Yours will be a little bit different. You want to change it to input mono 1 or 2. I'm going to select 2 because I got that in on the second sound card port. And then let's see if that's working. Volume was down. Here we go. Alright, so you can see the volume metering here, but you might want to change it in the mixer down here. Yep, Control M for mixer. So if you're in the MIDI explorer, Control M, and it brings it up there, and you can see it metering there. Okay, so the guitar's in this channel here, and you can see they both change each other. This is called the track control panel up here, and this is called the mixer control panel down here. The MCP, the TCP. Alright, now drums probably a bit loud. I'm going to turn them down a bit. Find a riff. Alright, that'll do. Okay, now before you record, you can right click on the record button and you can go auto punch. We'll get to that later. Alright, we'll record from the start. But I want to have a couple bars intro before I start. So I get my fingers from pressing the mouse to my instrument. So what you do is you go up to the metronome here and you right click and it brings up this separate menu. And you can see in here it's got pre-roll before recording. You want to tick that, and then you want to, I'm going to have one bar. Maybe we'll make it 2. So select that, press 2. Alright, here we go. So when I press record, it's going to count in 2 bars of 4. Oh, no it's not, because my metronome's not enabled. Let's press that again. see it's on loop recording. And what's happened, when you press stop, it'll say, do you want to save this? You go delete or save. Yeah, we'll get to that again. So I was making another take on that second round, but I said, no, I don't want to use that take. All right, so here we go. There's my audio recorded. All right, and you can see, I'm not very in time, am I? Look at that. That peak is meant to be on that grid line. So, if you want to edit audio, the best way to do it, I found, is to turn this off if you're doing some small changes, and then you can say, oh, I want to go in here, I want to split, S for split. Whoa, what did I just do then? Oops, something weird. Okay, so S to split, and you can see it's now split the audio into two halves. And then I'm going to turn my grid back on, and I'm going to drag the edge of this one back to there, and then I'm going to split again here. I'm going to drag the edge of that one to there. So it's now on that, and that one again, a little bit out of time. So you can hold down Shift, move that to there. You don't want to drag the whole thing, because if I do that, everything else goes out of time. So Control Z. So you got to split it, which is going to create gaps in your audio, but that's all right. Just wanted to demonstrate it so you can see it's going to actually line up with 2.1.0. There we go. So that one there's that pop. That needs to be back. That split there. That one's all right. Rest of it's okay. Just took me a bit of time to get in time here. Then you can select them all and go G for group. That way when you drag them, they're all good. I might get that first one. Bit of a delete that chunk. So I was just splitting with S and then moving. That one's a bit funny. Oh, now I'm stuffed it. Let's do that one. And you can see it repeated to there, so we want to make it repeat back to start. Okay, I'm going to take Arm for Chord off my guitar, and I'm going to insert another track, insert. Now I'm going to do a MIDI track. I just want to drag this down a bit. So MIDI tracks and audio tracks in Reaper are the same thing. So if we go down here, and we go to select input, you can make yours virtual MIDI keyboard if you want. Okay, all channels, and then go to view, and go, yours will say virtual MIDI keyboard here. Alt B, Alt B, cool. Brings up the keyboard. And you can see, you can drag that, you can actually right click on that part there, and it brings up this little menu. You can say dock virtual MIDI keyboard in Docker, and then it comes down here, and you can actually play notes on your keyboard. As you can see, Z, X, C, V, B, N, M, Q. That's your keys on your keyboard. That's me tapping my keyboard. Right, no sound coming out because there's no instrument. We're not playing through an instrument. So this is where we get into virtual instruments. So you click on effects, and for now, go to VSTI, and you'll see one in yours that says Resynth. That's just the one that comes with Reaper, and I'll show you how to get a whole bunch of different sounds. If you just look up freeware VSTI, you can download a heap of them. Anyway, okay, so some of them don't need to be installed, so you'll be able to put them on your laptops. If we go, okay, so here's my Resynth. Right, you can change the sound. And when you click out of the keyboard with your mouse to change something, it doesn't work, so you have to click back in there. Alright. Okay, and if you right click on this keyboard, it'll change which is the center key. At the moment C4, which is Q. It's my center key. If I right click C3, see how it's now changed down an octave? Alright, you go back up the octaves, right click on C4. You can make it so you're in a different mode at the moment. All those keys, the bottom row of my keyboard, I'm in C major. If I right click on, say, the D, the W, it's now going to be a different mode. Oh no, it's not. Well, that's cool. Makes it major. Very interesting. Alright. So, actually I played in D, didn't I? Alright, let's make D my center key. Whoop, what am I doing here? Okay, so I'm going to play along to this. Whoop! Loop mode's changed. I don't know what I'm doing there. I've got some key map to some bullshit. Okay, here we go. So now we record enable. Well, let's name this track. So double click in this grey space here. We'll call it bass. I'm just going to call it MIDI. So you know it's a MIDI track. And then we're going to make sure we can hear it. Yep, effects is on. That's going through resynth. This one here. And we're going to press record. Make sure the other ones aren't enabled. So record over the top of the other ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Save, and there it is, my MIDI data. Now remember, MIDI data is just blocks, sound organized in time. So if I click on, if I press E on my keyboard, E, it enables MIDI. Oh no, actually we'll do this a little bit differently. If we double click this track, brings up our MIDI editor. We can scroll up and down. Alright, at the moment I've got them on triangles because I've been doing drums, so just let me change that back. View, note shape, rectangles. Okay. So, I missed the first note. It does that sometimes. I don't know why. Okay. So at the moment I've got this. I'll just solo this track. S for solo over here. Oh, I'll bring my head cursor there. Some dodgy stuff going on here. You can edit it manually. Right, get them in time. Oops. Or you can quantize. If you just go right click and select all your notes like so. And you zoom in and out with your mouse wheel. Zoom up and down here with your mouse wheel. Okay, I'm going to press Q on this little track. And watch what happens to the notes. They're going to snap. Okay, did you see that? So what happens is that these notes will snap to a determined grid. At the moment it's in 1/8 notes. Grid, 1/8 notes. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then it gets to the second bar. So if I press Q on my notes, this note here is going to snap to the closest one. Is it going to be and or is it going to be 2? Let's see. Commit. Oh, hang on. What am I doing? Let's try that again. Grid, 1/8 notes. Okay. Oh, it's not working for me. Let's change something here. If I select, there we go. Q, and I want to go. It's bypass. Duh. Okay, press that button, and there you go. They snapped. So that one did snap back because it was closer to the other one. But if I take it off, I'll bypass it again. So we'll put that one there to say a little bit more. Hold down the shift button a little bit more that way. Hold down the shift button to move it, and then we'll go take it off, bypass, and you can see it snaps to that beat. Interesting. Alright, so again, we'll Control A. Does that do it? Control A. Ah, Control A selects them all. Control A. And then you press quantize to grid. Now they'll be in time. Not quite what I played. I think I was doing it to dotted. Dotted eighth notes. So if I just because I've done it already, so hang on, we'll just go Control Z, get them out of time again. There we go. Okay, now dotted eighth notes. Here we go. The grid on the quantize. We're going to change that to dotted. There we go. Dodgy going on here. Let's delete this note here. This one. What was I trying to do here? Just make a long note. And that little glitch there. Zoom in, resize it. I'm going to make that a minor third. And that one a minor third too. Close that back and you can see the MIDI data there. You can see it in line like that, pressing E, the key E. And then you can inline MIDI edit it. So let's take solo off. Let's see what it sounds like together. So that's tutorial for Reaper number 1. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a nice day. Bye.